All right, let's look at this one here. So solve the equation by the square root property. So the first thing we're going to do is divide both sides by 2 because that's not part of the squared quantity right here. And so we'll go ahead and cancel out those 2's, and we're going to be left with x plus 2, and that quantity is to the power of 2 equals 20. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to square root both sides to nullify that square power. Now, when we do that with the constant, though, the rule is we have to put a plus or minus there. And so we got to look at it as positive and negative. On the left side, it will nullify the power right there, the square root and the power. So we're going to be left with, actually, I don't need the parentheses anymore. So we're going to be left with x plus 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 20. And so this is the part where students start to have a little bit of difficulty is this next part. You got to simplify the square root. And so square root of 20 is somewhere between 4 and 5, like if you were to put it in a calculator, but we don't want to get decimals. We want to get an exact answer, so we like to leave them as radicals. But there's ways of simplifying them. And so we have to kind of break this apart into two numbers that multiply to give us 20, but one of them would be a perfect square. And so I could break it up into 10 and 2, but neither one of those are perfect squares, but I'm going to break it up into 4 and 5. 4 times 5 is 20, but now I can actually square root the 4. I can square root that. So now we're going to have x plus 2 equals positive or negative 2 square roots of 5. So that's how we simplified the radical right there. And then the last step we're going to do is subtract 2 from both sides. And I like to just wedge it right here, right after the equals sign. And so that'll leave us with x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 5. And that's a good answer. On the homework, they might ask you, it says use a comma to separate answers as needed. So you might have to put it as negative 2 plus the square root of 5, and then comma, negative 2 minus the square root of 5. All right, I hope that helps.